When I went there, the truth is that I could not believe. In actual fact, I was sick. I have to confess. I didn't know what came upon me. At about 1 a.m. that day, I was shivering. Ẹ̀rù tó tẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ bá mi ní pé wọ́n máa ní wọ́n rí oògùn wọn bẹ́ẹ̀. Mo pé oògùn wọn kọ́ ló ń mú. Ó tọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ yẹn o. Mo fi sí jẹ́ àdúrà ni o. But by morning, I was okay. Then the following night, about the same time again, same thing. Mo ní ọ̀rọ̀ yìí wá fẹ́ lé o. Mi ò bá fún àwọn ẹlẹ́ran yìí lẹ́ẹ̀kí má trouble wọn because eléyìí tí mo fẹ́ tọwọ́ bọ̀ yìí mi ò wá mọ̀ ń pẹ́ o. But ọmọ ọkọ òun ló gbọ́n máa le. So, but by the second night, but this is true story. I was very sick. And I mean high fever, I was shaking. Tó bá dẹ̀ ti dàárọ̀, màá wá okay. Kò ní ẹni mi ò ní rò pé anything ṣe ni. So, but whatever it is, but they moved. And in Ogbomoso, the issue is not whether you're a Christian or a Muslim or Nisheshe, because nearly every family in Ogbomoso has Muslim, has Christian, has that one. And that is not even the way we operate. We operate as, are you from Ogbomoso? We are all from Ogbomoso. And that's why I like what they said about the new running committee. That is not about Christian, Muslim, and all of those things. No, there are two major things about Ogbomoso. The first thing about us that is in our DNA is that we are warriors. Akinkoduniwa. And òun ló ń jẹ́ kí a lot of us ká má dúró nílé. Because warriors take territories. You understand? The warriors move around. Because what makes one a major warrior is that he's warring all over the place. The second thing about us is that we are entrepreneurs. It's in our DNA that a lot of us are just business-minded, business-like. Oníṣòwò ni wá. Òun náà ló pé òun yóò jẹ́ kí many of us ká dúró sí Ogbomoso. These two things have affected us positively and negatively. Because if you look at the whole of the north, there's hardly any major northern part of Nigeria that you get to that you will not see an Ogbomoso person. Go through the West Africa coast. There are many places that Ogbomoso ni, apart from àwọn aráàlú yẹn, the next people tó pọ̀ jù Ogbomoso ni wọ́n. Èmi máa ń sọ nǹkan kan, mo feel pé orúkọ ń rò wá. Nítorí orúkọ ọba wa is what? No. Ṣọ̀ún. So, à ń ṣọ̀ún ni a fẹ́ ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe lé nísìn. Ẹgẹ́ ìtẹ̀kọ́ tí mo sọ. Orúkọ ló ń rò wá. So, à ń ṣọ̀ún ni. Everybody lọ ń ṣọ̀ún. Orí ẹ̀yìn tẹ̀wà London yẹn ń ṣe bíi ni. Ẹ̀yìn ṣọ̀ún ni. Ìṣọ̀ún yín ló gbé dé ibí. But àwa fẹ́ ká má ṣọ̀ún èlò mọ́. A fẹ́ ká ṣe ilé. Ká ṣe ìlú wa. Let me say this. I feel extremely privileged. I've done a lot of things in my life. I've achieved a lot. You understand? And I've seen a lot. I've been to 65 countries of the world. Even maybe more than that. So that means many people will not see more than 2 countries in their whole life. I've seen 65. So I've traveled around. Not only that, I'm well educated. I went to University of Ife for my first degree, Great Ife. And I went to UI. They are the 2 topmost universities in my generation that you can attend. That's the truth. So I know what I am talking about. I sit on the board of about 5 companies as chairman till today. Part of it is an oil and gas company. I sit on the board of Great Place to Work, which I think you have here in London. Of course, we have here in London. The one in London, I'm a part owner of it. When I went there, the truth is that When I went there, the truth is that here in London. So, and I pastored for 31 years. And I pastored one of the largest churches of any Nigerian in America for at least 15 years. My church was the largest church. Jesus House in Baltimore. Jesus House in Silver Spring. So I've been around. And one of the things I believe, and I've lived abroad for 30 years. I lived in Germany and I've lived in America for the past 28 years before I became the king. I'm 63 years old. So I've seen a lot. And I believe that all of this is what I brought to the table when I became the king. And I'm not being boastful. I'm just telling you my resume. There's nothing wrong in saying what your resume is. And there's nothing for me to be boastful about. I'm at the pinnacle of what I can be. That's where I am. There is no greater honor for me than for me to be saved as a Christian and to be the Shaman of Ogbomoso. If they offer me any other post, trust me, if they offer me the president of Nigeria, I will not. Because this one, I will be Shaman till I die. Presidency is for maximum of 8 years. So I would rather take what is permanent than what is temporal. So here is not any rocket science. And I always thank God that he made me the Shaman of Ogbomoso. And the reason is this. I believe God is partial to us as a town. Because the number of Ogbomoso sons and daughters I've met, there's hardly any place I've been that I don't see Ogbomoso sons and daughters. That's the truth. You meet them all over the place. And so being their king of a people like that, I feel that honored and I feel God is partial by making me, out of everybody who could have been, he made me the Shaman. So I want you to know that you have a man who is proud of his position. So one thing I'm going to tell all of you is that I will do one thing. I will only take this throne higher. And I will never disappoint you. I'm telling you, as a human being, I will stay out of scandal. You will always be proud of your king. You will always be proud about my action. I'm not a poor man at all. Very far from being poor. I retired in the church I was pastoring. I retired. I didn't resign. So I'm handing dollars for retirement. So I'm not poor. And if you live in Nigeria and you're handing dollars, when I'm sleeping, I'm handing dollars. So, nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ jẹ kọ́ ni mò ń wá. Nǹkan tí mo bá jẹ ń sìn bẹ́kùnbẹ́kùn ni. Kò ń ṣe pé ebi ń pa wá. And tí máa fi wọlé sùn ebi ò lè pa mí mọ́. That's not arrogance. So I'm just telling you a statement of fact. That's it. You know, I'm the king already now, so I'm not going to King Mofe Jakosi Info. The highest mo lè jẹ l'Ogbomoso ni mo ti jẹ. Are you with me? But I'm meeting most of you for the first time. So I want you to know who your king is. Because two things are also important for us. For us to love our town. If we love our town, we will help the town. The second thing is to love the king. Because if you love the king, you will follow his direction. Let me guarantee you one thing. I will give Ogbomoso the right direction. That one, you can go and sleep about it. Because that is my DNA also. I will give a right direction. And everybody who has interacted with me over the years will tell you. Èmi ò ṣe professor, mi ò mọ kíni o. But I come class, I've learned it on the streets. So I can tell you, I know about business. I'm a successful businessman. So, and when I pastored, I was a successful pastor. Those of you, I don't know if anybody's here in Redeem, I retired at the level of a regional pastor. That's about what highest anybody can be in America. So I got to the pinnacle of my career as a businessman and as a pastor. So at this stage of my life, I'm in my legacy years. Anybody that is over 50, like 60, is a little bit late. Because it's getting a little bit late. Because me alone is oúnjẹ mi ò lè jẹ, iṣẹ́ mi ò lè ṣe. Ó tell the sun 8 hours wà jí tọ̀ ni. You understand? Yo, the choice. You understand? Go one thing, that's the thing. I mean, ìgbà tó bá dẹ̀ jí tó bá lọ tọ̀ báyìí, ó lóorun sùn mọ́. So ask the people who are in their 60s. Most of us are. Not everybody, but most of us are. So at this stage of my life, it's a stage of living legacy. And that's what I promise Ogbomoso people I am going to live. I'm going to make you proud of your town. Because I want people who are from that town, for the town to become a reference of how a town should run. That's what I wake up and do every day. How can this town change? Let me say a couple of things. I didn't go to Ogbomoso more than 3 years in 30 years before I became the king. I didn't know 10 people in Ogbomoso when I became the king. Or when I started running to become the king. I didn't know. But of course, as a young boy, I go to Ogbomoso with my dad. But the Ogbomoso I met when I became the king is not my childhood experience of what the town is. I found out that the town, a lot of things has collapsed in the town. You know, a lot of houses are, in a lot of places, are board houses. They didn't look like mud houses before, but a lot of time and weather has thrown away what the town, the houses now. So there's a lot to do in that area. But one thing is this. When I came on the throne, I had something I called the 25-year vision of where this town should be in the next 25 years. And the reason is also my background. Because where there's no vision, people run amok. Not only perish, they don't know what to do. When there's no vision, vision. But when there's a clear vision of where you want to go, it makes it easy for you to reject what is not valuable to you. Vision simplifies life. That's it. If they offer you what is not in your vision, you don't accept it. You will know because you have a clear path of where you want to go. So we have a clear path of what I believe Ogbomoso should be. And this is what I did. And it's what I've done in the past 1 year. And we want this town to be a model town. And God has blessed the town with people who can make it. But we just have to let them know. Because how can the people rise for war if the beagle is making uncertain sound? There has to be clarity of where we want to go. And that's why I said those two things. Love their town and love their king. The church I was pastoring, there are thousands of people here. It's not that I'm looking for love. I pastored for 31 years. My people, they love me. So I'm not looking for something. I'm not looking for fame. Because my name as Ghandi is notorious already. And that's why there was so much noise when I became king. Social media was breaking and all of those things. It's because, number one, a pastor wants to go and become a king. That's a story for another day. But All right, let me just say something on that. Being a pastor, I was pastoring a couple of thousands. Now, God has given me an opportunity to pastor hundreds of thousands. That's exactly what it is. I was a shepherd of a few. It is my faithfulness in shepherding the few. That's why God has given me a large something. And in every flock that you will have black, you will have white, you have brown, you have different colors. It's the same thing I see. We have Christians, we have Muslim, we have the traditionalist. So the ability of my 31 years of experience pastoring people is the ability to bring a balance to the people. And in Ogbomoso, the issue is not whether you're a Christian or a Muslim or Nisheshe, because nearly every family in Ogbomoso has Muslim, has Christian, has that one. And that is not even the way we operate. We operate as, are you from Ogbomoso? We are all from Ogbomoso. And that's why I like what they said about the new running committee. That is not about Christian, Muslim, and all of those things. The reason why we also call ourselves Parapo is because of the 5 local governments. Because Ogbomoso zone consists of 5 local governments. So there are people from Ajawa who, when you ask them, where are you from? They say they're from Ogbomoso. The people from Moko, they say they're from Ogbomoso. The people from Ibon, they say they're from Ogbomoso. So it is all of us. Once we are out of Ogbomoso, we decide that we are all. So Ogbomoso is not only the north and south, not only those 2 local governments, but the 5 local governments that represents Ogbomoso land. And I am Shon of Ogbomoso land, not Shon of Ogbomoso. Is the land everywhere that covers the 5 local governments. So where we are going is God has blessed us. And anybody who lives in Nigeria of today will definitely know that if anybody depends upon the government for virtually anything, the person will wait for a long time. It is time for the citizens, àwọn ọmọ ìlú yẹn, kí wọ́n kóra wọn jọ kó sọ pé a fẹ́ kí ìlú wa yàtọ̀. And that is my clear vision. Do we need government? Everybody needs government. But there is what I call heavy lifting. That you need government. E.g., for roads, for electricity. Those are heavy lifting. You need the government to help with that. Things that runs into billions for you to achieve, you need government to do that. But there are a lot of other things that you don't need government. Setting up companies and industries. That's private sector, which a lot of our people have things like that. So we've got to ask ourselves, schools. Government can set up schools, but you can have private schools. And you can support the schools that the government school, when I was coming 2 days ago, they said 3 days ago or 4 days ago, today is Saturday, on Wednesday, there's a committee that was set up. I'm going to talk about committees to you. But the education committee, they came to me and they said that the students, a lot of students, because they say education is free. And I wonder why the government makes education free, sincerely. Because there's nothing wrong in free education. But then make the children to enjoy free education. Education in Nigeria is unbelievable what it is now. The children don't have exercise books. There are many of them who do. In public school, they don't have exercise books. So the proposal those people came to talk to me about is how we can provide exercise books for 26,000 students, about 30,000 students. That's it. They said because some of them don't come because they don't have a exercise book to write. So hence you can look at how bad situation is. So, and the parents, they say a lot of parents can't even afford exercise book. Then I told them to give me what the price of exercise book is. They said 300 naira for one. That's how many pence here? That's less than 50p or something. You understand? The exchange rate now is 2,000 for £1. An exercise book is 1/6 of that. That means it's about 15p. That's why a student won't go to school. Unbelievable. But it tells you the level that things has fallen into. So this has been going on for years. So those are things that you don't need to wait for the government for. Those are lifting that we can do. One of the heavy lifting is water. When I came into Ogbomoso, I found out that, I don't live in the palace because the palace is a little bit old. We need it to be rebuilt. So, but I live right in the center, a place called Orita Naira. I just noticed that the part of my house, when I walk around the place, I smell feces. And I was wondering why. So I told them to go and check the other side of the wall. Where is feces smelling in this area? Then I found out that they don't have toilet. I was shocked. I said, how can the house not have toilet? So they said, so what happened is that when they pass feces, they throw it, you understand what I'm saying, short puts or whatever they call it. So it's that side of my wall that they throw the thing at. Right in the middle of the town. So I found out that they don't. They said, why would they have water? Why would they have toilet when they don't have water? Because I have a borehole. So I wasn't thinking. I just thought people had water. And the reason why I did borehole at that time was to have constant water. So they told me, no. And actually, water has not run in Ogbomoso for 25 years. I couldn't believe it. They said water has not run for 25 years. So I said, how are people living then? They said, everybody buys water. Or they go to the river. But most people buy water. 100 naira for a basin of water. So, this is a heavy lifting to provide the water. So, because I'm being recorded, there are a couple of things I don't want to say. But anyway, the thing is, I decided that I was going to speak to some elites in the town. And I addressed them. And I told them how much we are looking for. The truth is that I gave the highest. And then quite a number of people gave also. And in 6 months, we were able to fix a 25-year problem. That's the truth. We were able to do it. And there were people told me point blank that it's not possible. How are you going to do it? A problem that's been there for 25 years. You now want to try and fix it. But let me tell you my thinking, which is why I'm saying that a lot of these things, I learned them on the street. One of my philosophies in life is what happened with America when J.F. Kennedy said in 1963, or 62 or 63, that we must go to the moon this decade. That's what he said to NASA, and he left the place. And what happened was that nobody has been to the moon before. So how do you go to a place where you don't even know how far it is? How do you get there? What instrument or what will take you there? And not only take you there, to bring you back. Because it can take you there, the thing might not be able to come back into this place. But the people sat down and did the measurement of how far moon is. Decided the rocket that will take them there, bring them back. And that decade, they landed on the moon. So it's a very simple way of thinking that all you need to do is to figure out whatever problem you encounter. So what did I do? I found out that we have 2 dams in Ogbomoso. Is why did water stop running? That's the first thing. So if we want to fix the problem, we find out what's the root of the thing. For whatever reason, typical of a lot of things in Nigeria, lack of maintenance, it started gradually, then everything stopped. So I went to the dam. I found out that Ogbomoso has 2 dams. Most cities don't have one. But we have 2 major dams. But government, nobody did anything about it. And so I started talking with people. Then they told me that one of our sons has pipes, who got the contract for water project but never finished it, the whole thing. So we approached him. He gave us the pipes. So what then is the other thing? The filtration system. Everything in the place was moribund. They were not working again. So since people have contributed money, we started buying those things. Made a lot of changes at the water corporation. Started pumping the water. But of course, a lot of pipes started busting. You understand? But we kept fixing it. And all of those things. Finally, water got into the reservoir. But when it got to the reservoir, everything in the reservoir was bad. Because this has not worked for over 25 years. But we fixed it. So what are we doing now? The water now has gotten into the reservoir. How does it get to the people? When we open the thing, number one, the only people who will get water are the people who have run pipes 25 years ago. Because when water was not coming, you don't run pipes now. You understand? You don't run pipes where water is not running, when you connect it to. So one of the things we are now doing is that we want to now do public taps. And then we would then go into the next phase of now relaying other pipes that people can then connect to. But the first thing now is that since we have water in the reservoir, it's now to make sure that we link sub-taps, public taps, not the old ones, we are making new ones. So at least people can start to see that this problem can be fixed. And it has been 90% fixed. So this is one of the things that I embarked on in this 1 year. The other thing is the meat sellers. Because when I went to the meat seller where they are having their markets and everything, market is very important in every development. Because it's the place where the poor and the rich meet. Everybody goes to the market. If you do not go, if you're a rich man, your house help will go. Your staff will go there. And so, they said that meat sellers will never move. Because where they have been there for years. And all of those things. But we called them to the palace, and I shared the vision of a new town with them. They said all manners of things. But we shared the vision with them, and they said they've never had anybody say that. I said, when they are talking about bad people, one omelero, she sọ pé ọmọ tó ń ta ìṣó, ọmọ tó ń ta ọ̀bẹ, but omelero was a gold standard for a bad person. You understand? Just like Omala. So one jọ wà pọ̀ náà ni. Ẹlẹ́ran aláta wọ́n jọ kóra wọn pọ̀ náà ni. Yeah. Tó bá rẹran tán wà aláta àti tòmátì. You understand? So they always they move. The truth is that they move together. Yeah, but we were able to share that with them, and they said they never thought about it like that. So ibiṣẹ́ yín nìyẹn. Tẹ́yìn náà bá ń lọ ẹ lọ dáadáa. You understand? The way The teacher wakes up and go to their workplace. Civil servant wakes up and go to their old office. That's how you people wake up and go. That's your shop. When I went there, the truth is that I could not believe. In actual fact, I was sick. I have to confess. I didn't know what came upon me. At about 1 a.m. that day, I was shivering. Ẹ̀rù tó tẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ bá mi ní pé wọ́n máa ní wọ́n rí oògùn wọn bẹ́ẹ̀. Mo pé oògùn wọn kọ́ ló mú. Ó tọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ yẹn o. Mo fi sí jẹ́ àdúrà ni o. But by morning, I was okay. Then the following night, about the same time again, same thing. Mo ní ọ̀rọ̀ yìí wá fẹ́ lé o. Mi ò bá fún àwọn ẹlẹ́ran yìí lẹ́ẹ̀kí má trouble wọn because eléyìí tí mo fẹ́ tọwọ́ bọ̀ yìí mi ò wá mọ̀ ń pẹ́ o. But ọmọ ọkọ òun ló gbọ́n máa le. So, but by the second night, but this is true story. I was very sick. And I mean high fever, I was shaking. Tó bá dẹ̀ ti dàárọ̀, màá wá okay. Kò ní mi ò ní rò pé anything ṣe ni. So, but whatever it is. But they moved. And we encouraged them to move. And they did. We've never had a meeting in 50 years of Ogbomoso traditional rulers. We called them and they came. Even the Bales, I called them last week from the 5 local governments, they all came. Most of them said this is the first time they've ever entered Seun's palace and all of those things. What am I trying to do? We need to develop our land. That's it. And development will come from unity. So I've visited a lot of obas that typically a Seun should not go and meet. But that has nothing to do with me. Mi ò wá gàba, mo wá ṣiṣẹ́ ni fún ìdàgbàsókè ìlú wa. That's it. I started pastoring at 31. Mo ti gàba títí as a pastor. Kò sí nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ fi yẹn ṣe ń sìn. Ọlọ́run pè mí kí wá ṣiṣẹ́ l'Ogbomoso ni to come and help with the development of the town. So I'm razor focused on doing that. So if I have to stoop to conquer, I better stoop and conquer. Because all the obas, there's one I went to see last week, they said this is history making. That a Seun Mawasi or Doni Shapa, it has never been. All the ones have gone, they all say the same thing. But it is for us, number one, to be united. If we are united, it helps us to move. So, because infighting and division never makes progress. Because see, could make any progress. And these are people who are extremely industrious people. We need to make progress. And so, one of the things I did also is that I formed 13 committees. 13 committees is like forming 13 ministries. Committee on Education, Committee on Agriculture, Committee on Infrastructure, Committee on Commerce, Job Creation, Committee on Tourism, Committee on, what again? 13 anyway. Health, yeah, health. Health Committee. And our Health Committee, they are doing a fantastic job. It's headed by Professor Ladipo. Professor Ladipo is a world-renowned professor. You understand? He's the head of the thing, the head of our education committee. And all these committees, they are operating, they are all sons and daughters. If you see the list of our sons and daughters, you will not believe it. That's why you know that God has helped our town. But there are too many infighting. Not only too many infighting, they have sown the seed of fear into a lot of people. Light has come. And I'm very serious about that. Because people will say, you understand? Because God wants us to progress as a people. And everything that will not make us progress, He must take care of them and he has taken care of them. You understand? And that's why he brought me in there. And that's not arrogance. You understand? Èmi ò bẹ̀rù nǹkankan àjẹ́ oṣó. Èmi ò ní wọn sí o, but èmi ò bẹ̀rù wọn. That's the truth. As àlùfáà mi ò lè bẹ̀rù wọn. Kí n fẹ́ bẹ̀rù wọn fún? Kò sí nǹkan tó kàn mí pẹ̀lú wọn. Wọ́n lè máa ṣe tiwọn, èmi ń ṣe tèmi. You understand? Wọn àjẹ́ àtòṣó kankan wọn ò fún mi lọ́rùn. At all. But it's not an issue. It is to encourage us that we can all come home. Because this development, we have to do it. So one of the things is that, for example, education committee, since you talked about it, the vision is that different people come in and do a lot of empowerment, which is fantastic. But we want a united empowerment. So, for example, your own empowerment, the palace, let me say this one, I've employed 6 people and the plan is to employ 10. I'm paying them from my pocket every month. They're all graduates. Most of them went to Lautech and all of those things. Is that all they work on is the 25-year agenda that I have. So, and we have a lot of them attached, all of them are attached to a committee. So we want to be the secretariat for all the different committees. So, for example, the one you talked about, education, your foundation. When we know about your foundation, we will support your foundation. So, Mr. B also comes. He wants to do something, and he has a foundation for education also. So that we are not all concentrating on a section. We have different things. So if we are coordinating it, we can say, all right, you have taken 65, like one of the things you said. Let somebody else take another 65. Because what we found out is that the people who have influence, everything goes around their family. And that's a Nigerian factor. It's not peculiar to Ogbomoso. You understand? And one of the things God has done is that when I came, Emi Omoyan Mewa, mi ò mọ anybody láti fún, is the people who come that we give things to. You understand? So, what am I trying to say? We will coordinate. So, another example is the healthcare. Of course, we have a fantastic person who is in charge of his, Professor Ladipo. And we have a lot of people who want to come and do medical mission. So, for example, 2 medical missions are coming up the same week. Instead of us saying to one, we have 1 medical mission, don't forget Ogbomoso land has 5 local government. So we will take 1 to 1 local government, another 1 to another local government. That's how we are going to share this thing. So no one is left behind. That is what my office does. So I'm not sitting down there crossing my leg and giving orders. I have my hand on the daily basis. I'm running. I want to run the town like a corporate organization. That's how I want to run it too. Because that's the only way we will go forward. If we continue running it like the civil servant and all of those things, we will not make progress. We want our town to be different from Iseyin. We want it to be different from Ejibo. We want it to be different from Oyo town. We want it to be different from all the towns that are surrounding us. That's where we are going. So if we continue to behave the way they are behaving, there will not be a difference between us and those towns. That's it. So a lot of the people even now don't understand me. But all I say is that they will understand me later. Because I want to run this the way you run a corporate organization. Because that's the only way the town will make progress. That's the only way the town will do well. So a lot of these committees, job creation. So any job that we find, we send it to the committee. And we send it to the job something. But they are also trying to see jobs that they can create. We have the Commerce Committee. Their own is to develop industries. So if anybody is telling me now, Mufeda Cashew Kinile, I want Commerce Committee, we give it to them. They're the ones who will help the person. So anybody who wants to do anything, we send them to the different committees to give them the support that they need so that they can do whatever they want to do with ease. The ease of doing business is always encouraging to any individual. The difficulty in doing business makes people take their business away. And there are some things that, for example, cashew nut. Cashew nut is like our oil. It's oil to Ogbomoso. So I've told the cashew people, I'm not dealing with you this year. But from next season of the cashew, everything I have will be in it. I'm not going to be in cashew business, but I will make sure that we oversee it to the way that it becomes beneficial, not to only the cashew sellers, but to the town as a whole. Because it is just, that's our oil. If we can't use our oil to develop, that's one thing God has given to us, cashew and mango. Our mango is different. It's the best in the world. But 70% of it gets rotten. It drops off and everything. So, because there should be a mango in processing something in Ogbomoso. So I was supposed to go this year, but I'm going next year. There's one in Ivory Coast. So I want to see how they are doing it. So we also can do the same. And we have land for cassava. And so these are things that we are lining up so that it can create, number one, employment, and it can create, economic value for the people of the town. Because each of these things has a value chain that people can be employed in and can create different things. The other thing we want to focus a lot on is IT. And, it's so interesting. After sharing this vision, so we have the IT committee also, IT and AI committee, you understand? We have that committee also. And we have, each of these committees have an average of 25 Ogbomoso sons and daughters in there who are also thinking about what are the things that they can do. We have the infrastructure committee. The infrastructure committee, we chose people who are in top government position because they can always influence the things, infrastructure, to bring those, like roads, like I've talked about, water projects. Of course, now we are doing but our water project can be extended. Not what a few of us gather together to do. You understand? We would like for every house to be able to turn on their tap and water will come. So that kind of thing, you need a government intervention in that. You understand? Because that means we have to lay pipes. The town is not what it was 25 years ago. And 25 years ago, anybody would not lay pipes because there is no water that they need to lay pipes on. Everybody has a borehole in their house. Those who don't have borehole have to go and buy water. So those are heavy lifting that you need government intervention in. Infrastructure, like schools, that is major schools, like we had Lautech and all of those things. Top government agencies, because those are the areas also that can provide jobs. Because everybody wants to work in Lautech. Everybody's always coming to me, sir, so that is the only industry where people want to work. But there are a lot of government agencies that people can bring. Just like it was said about the wife of Adisa, that it took the Polytechnic to Ede. So that's how government agencies function. There is one of the person who used to be the Senate president. He took a top school of Agric to his town. the town had maybe 100 houses. So they don't even have people to work in the place, but he used his influence to take it to that town. You understand? And the people don't even have, they don't have anything that they would use in the place. So if we have our own town, people in government, let me also, I'm picking because of time, education. The whole idea why we are going to focus heavily on education. And I'm meeting with the committee a lot. I promised them that on this trip, because I'm going to America, that all the exercise book they need for 30,000 students, I will get my friends, we will supply them. Because if our children don't go to school, how can they be at the decision table in the next 25 years? They cannot. Because you will not be at the table where they're making decisions. So the plan is that in the next 15 years, in the next 20 years, our children, there will be a mass movement of them in ministries, in working as civil servants, in being able to rise to in positions where decisions are being made, in corporations, in industries, and all of those things. And we have to start from now. Our, what's it called? Part of our education, we are putting an education curriculum from primary 1 to SS3, where they will teach what our civic, you know, there's what we call civic subject that we do. We are putting something together now to train our children basic ethics, greeting, respecting of, what's it called, of elders. But the reason for that, why we are including that in their curriculum, is to make our town a tourist attraction. So that when tourists come, and this idea came because one of the places I've been several times is Bahamas. When you hardly pass through a Bahamian without them greeting you. You hardly pass through them because they know that their source of income is tourism. So they take it very seriously. And also, we also can make our own place a place of tourism also. And a lot of our heritage, we can upgrade them, that it will become a town where it will become a tourist attraction. Because we're only 30 minutes to Ilorin, where there you have an airport. We are gateway. All right, one of the things also is, one of the committees is, oh God, forgetting the name now, but that one is charged with us. You know, Ogbomoso is a gateway between the north and the south. So they are charged to make warehousing business a place in Ogbomoso. And we have industrial park in Ogbomoso that is lying waste. Our area boys, our bandits, they've taken it over. But now, I've spoken to Oyo State government, they're trying to give it back to us. You understand? So we can make a lot of warehouses in Ogbomoso. So gbogbo àwọn trailers tó ń bọ̀ from the north. Tó bá ti dé Ogbomoso, wọn ò ní láti lọ s'Èkó. Wọn ò ní láti lọ sí Ìbàdàn. Wọ́n á já ẹrù wọn sí ibẹ̀ yẹn. Àwọn tó wà ní Ìbàdàn, tó wà l'Èkó gbogbo, wọ́n á máa wá sí Ogbomoso. Àwọn náà ò ní láti lọ sí Jẹ̀bà or Mokwa or North. Ogbomoso then becomes the place where there is transshipment and exchange of goods. Easily. So all those trailers, wọn kò pé táwọn bá ti dé kínní, àwọn máa ṣe U-turn àwọn padà. Ṣé sáwọn iṣẹ́ máa lọ Ìbàdàn, lọ sí Èkó, lọ sí Ọ̀yọ́, lọ sí kínní, because we are the gateway. So we can take opportunities of several things. And that's why I say our town is so blessed. But we have to just rethink how we treat the town and how we see the town. I have a lot of things I can share, sit down here, and these are low-hanging fruits. They are not so great. You know, they are not rocket science. You understand? People, a lot of people who are in government, they are looking, they can't take their money out again. So give them an environment where they can invest the money. Warehousing is a major business. Warehousing alone is a major business. Where if they know, so we can have an industrial park that has where goods are exchanged. So ẹni tó ń kó gbogbo ọjà bọ̀ láti north, he said kò ní láti dẹ́kọ̀ láti ta. Àwọn tó ń lọ rajà ní north wọn ò ní láti dẹ́kọ̀ tó bá ti dé Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́. Wọ́n mọ̀ pé àwọn ará ayé tí petrol ti ẹ̀wọ̀n yìí wọn ò ní láti lọ jìnnà. Tó bá ti dé Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ wọ́n mọ̀ pé àwọn máa rà. So there are just opportunities that we have in the town. It comes to where we need education. Because if all our boys are becoming area boys, we have security committee also. And we charge them, they clear the area boys at a time. But some of them are coming back. Because we need consistency in that. But they are operating, the security committee. And all the people there are past AIGs. Colonel Japo is the one who is in charge of the thing, who is also the one operation boss for your state. So we have sons and daughters who are already in places of influence. But a lot of people have just been folding their hands. So a lot of them now, they call us and say, oh, I would like to be in this committee. This is my expertise. I would like to do this. I would like to do that. The palace, we are renovating the palace. I'm the one paying for it 100%. But guess what? Somebody told me there is an Ogbomoso man who has a paint factory. I made a call to him. He said, he will be more than willing to paint the whole palace. It's going to cost him a couple of millions. He said he will do it. He said he will even supply painter. He has brought the paint already. We are trying to get it ready. We have the cultural committee. And we have things like this that are happening all the time. We have the cultural committee. The cultural committee is the one organizing in December. And I know that it might be a little bit late, but we have this called the Ogbomoso Cradle Carnival. We are having it October 19th to the 23rd of December. December 19th to 23rd of December. What is the vision for this? These are things that God laid upon my mind, that with all of these people scattered all over the place, what can you do to bring them together? So we set up a cultural committee also. You guys, we want something that will, and what I believe will bring us together is our heritage. So let's have a 1 week of activity. And that's what we are having. So we are having a 1 week of, so when I came, I stopped all the egunguns from coming out. So we are going to have them come out only once in a year. You know, they come out at different times before. And they were beating people. They will be beating people and all of those things. So we told them that nobody does that anymore. You are egungun. You are supposed to be a fun thing. Entertainment. That's what we want you to be. And it's a fact. I told them, if we don't do that in this age and day now, no. Entertainment le láti ṣe. Tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ṣe kíní ẹnu ara yín nínú compound yín. No, I'm serious. I called all of them. I had a meeting with all of them in the palace. So I'm not joking. So ẹni nara yín nínú ilé yín, and only they have their traditional rites that they do. Ẹ ṣe traditional rites in your compound. Ẹ má máa wọ́ gbòòrò tẹ́ má máa nọyàn. But once in a year, ẹ lè wọ́ gbòòrò during this carnival. We have what you call Oduonle, that is also popular. So they do that in January. I told them we will do it during this carnival. So that we want people to have a reason to come home for Christmas. And there will be activity for them. You understand? That's the thing. And then our karegbe and a lot of the old food and everything. And the committee has done a very good job. They've gotten federal government, they've got it registered Ogbomoso Cradle Carnival. Why do you call it Ogbomoso Cradle? Because it involves the 5 local governments. So it's not North and South alone. It involves all the 5 local governments. And Oyo State also has adopted it as one of the festivals that they will do. The federal government has adopted it also. And so we are looking forward to having a major something. And on the last day, I hate to always use this, but we are having something that I can describe that people can relate to, like the Ojude Oba, where people are going to wear ashoke, the different groups of people. What they do in Ijebu, that's what we are going to do on the last day. And in the last day, that's when the two major masquerades, Dano Fujura, the one that burns, that has fire all over him, and Ajo Magbodo, you understand, they are coming out on those 2 days. And maybe there's another one that is coming out on the final day. But during that week of activity, different ones are going to come from the 5 local governments that is Egungun, they're going to come out. So we will have Ojuonle, you understand, where people eat moi moi, you know, it's the same thing as Ole, you understand, all over the town. And then they will do their traditional things, you know. And then we're having a golf tournament. But so it's going to be 5 days of activity. And we fixed this thing to December. Why? Because at that time, whether you're a Christian or a Muslim or Onisheshe, everybody's happy because it's the end of the year. You understand? And we want people like you, especially people like you, to start to come home and plan to come home during this period. You understand? And our diaspora is not only people living abroad. If you live in your town, if you live in Ibadan, if you live in Lagos, if you live in Jos, you are diaspora for also. Anybody that's not living in the town is diaspora. That's who you are. And that's what we classify you as. But if you are coming from London, you people, you want to decide to come together and wear the same ashoke. We have different ashoke that has been chosen that you can be part of it and all of those things. I can sit down here and talk to you for the next 2 hours, and that's the truth, about each of the different committees. You understand? Of each of the different committees, what it involves and what they are doing. So I want to share this with you that we have a hope of transforming our town. We have the people who can do it. We have the people who have set up their mind and are supporting us. So we want your support in whatever way. You understand that you can. There are different things that you can decide to pick. You understand? And it's Agbajowo, Lamafishe, Olafin Soya. Thank you very much.
Drive TV. Àti gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí Fẹ́mi Sola, ẹ máa wo Drive TV. Keep watching Drive TV. My name is Wole Agba. Taking this time out to tell you all that you keep watching Drive TV. What drive ẹ̀wọ̀ ní ògo ẹ̀? What drive ẹ̀wọ̀ fulfilment? What drive ẹ̀wọ̀ bí tó bá lọ? Ó ní iṣẹ́ rẹ̀. Ibi ni kò máa wò Drive TV. Thank you. Chloe.
Drive TV. Driving you around the world.